up, everyone? Eli here, back for another CD collection slash horror movie collection video. We'll go ahead and get started. First off, oh my god, the Dark Hymns from the Cold North headquarters is fucking hot as shit. Yeah, we're having so far a really, really super hot fucking summer, which we don't. It's kind of not typical for us. I don't know what to say. It's fucking excruciating. It's got to be like 90 degrees just in my bedroom right now. It's fucking ridiculous. But anyways, we'll just start where we left off last time. I got a little bit out of order, but we're jumping back into it. Almost all metal here. Yeah, so that should please most of you guys. I know like the non-metal stuff on this channel is not so popular, but yeah, we'll have a good time anyways, right? We are going to start off with, I think, one of the only recordings from this band, or at least it was at one point, but I have not kept up. Kind of a punky black metal out of Portugal. We got Goat Fuck with Procession of Forked Tongues. I think this is an EP if I remember correctly, but it's got like 8 tracks. Might be a full length. Been some time since I've listened to this. I initially got into it because I think there was a dude in this band that was in Decade, which is like Portugal's one of their longest running black metal bands, and really good. If you haven't listened to Decade, give them a chance. But yeah, that's, at least from what I remember, I think that's what led me to wanting to check this out. But this is not really much like Decade, other than it being, for the most part, a black metal band. There's a lot of like punk and crust and influences here. But yeah, show you inside there. This came out on, hellproductions.com. I can't remember the year. Probably at least 8 years ago. But yeah, it's good stuff. Look into it, and if you like that kind of black metal, very punky. It's not my favorite type of sound, to be honest, but I dig it. It's cool. This next one is actually this is an all-time classic, especially with not only death metal fans, but Swedish death metal fans. This band is kind of known for only having one album, but it was a killer, no doubt. We have God Macabre with the Winterlong. This is a re-release done by Relapse Records some 8 or 10 years ago, I think. It's got some bonus tracks on here, by the way. This isn't just the album, it's also got an EP attached to it from back in the days when they were actually a different band. They were not called God Macabre. I don't know, did I show the inside? Whatever. Yeah, they weren't called God Macabre. They were called something else. Kind of a similar name, to be honest, but it was called... Jesus. Should be here somewhere. So they were, this recorded at Sunlight Studios, of course, over in Sweden. God damn it. Why can't they just make this easy to find? Macabre End. They were called Macabre End, which is cool. I think God Macabre is better. But yeah, this even if you have the original, it's probably worth getting, if you happen to see it out in the wild or whatever, just for that EP tacked at the end, because that thing is totally rare. So it's nice to have. Nice to listen, nice to be able to listen to. Next, an album or a band that I like, and I only have one of their albums, and this is in fact an EP. I've always meant to get more of their stuff. I just, for some reason, I just always forget or whatever, It eludes me for really no reason at all. So this, I think, is their debut recording. Correct me if I'm wrong, but. We got U.S. death metal band Godless Rising. This came out on Pathos Productions. The rest of their stuff, as far as I can remember, came out on Moribund Records out of Washington State. So this band was kind of famous initially for, not really famous, sorry, but they were kind of known for having 2 dudes from Vital Remains, including Jeff Bruslin on vocals. I think he was Vital Remains' original vocalist, if I remember correctly. If not, I'm pretty sure he was. But anyways, yeah, really cool band. just kind of pure old school sounding death metal. Not really sounding like anything in particular. I guess you could just say they have their own sound. Just old school crunchy death metal, maybe of the East Coast variety, which would make sense since they are from, like the not Maine, but anyways, East Coast, one of the East Coast states, Rhode Island, I believe. But yeah, always, like I said, I always wanted to get their other albums. I just, for some reason, I haven't. Cool band nonetheless. But all right, now this is a weird one for me. Not something I listen to often. I think I bought this last year. It's one of those bands that I've always just heard great things about, and I'm not going to argue with that. It's just I don't think this is my cup of tea. I'm still kind of every now and then I'll give it a listen, and I do appreciate it for what it is. It just never really grabs me the way it does for the diehard fans. I mean, this band is, to say the least, they have a cult status. This is the debut album by Godspeed, You Black Emperor. Kind of a weird experimental band out of Canada. I have no idea how you would describe their sound. Kind of ambient, droning post-rock, I guess. Any of you could probably do a better description. But yeah, this came out in '98. Like I said, their debut album. They have since then just they've cultivated a massive cult status. It's a cool album. Like I said, I just don't think it's for me, but I'm still going to give it more listens just as, once a year or whatever, see if it grows on me. This next one's kind of an oddball in my collection as well, but it's not far from, stuff that I listen to and stuff that I really like. We have Gong with Espresso 2. Gong were where were these guys from? I don't know. But they were a jazz fusion band from the 70s. At least that's, the era that I know them from. Yeah, this originally came out in '78. This is a '89 version. Jazz fusion bordering, I'd say bordering on prog, but I mean, for me, a lot of jazz fusion can kind of, have a lot of similarities with some prog rock, but I think jazz fusion is the best description. This band is very well known for having, Alan Holdsworth on guitar. Alan's been, in several dozen bands probably, not to mention his own lengthy solo career. He's pretty much known as one of the best fusion guitarists the world would ever see, if not just one of the best guitarists in general. The dude is truly fucking amazing. If you're into jazz fusion, you no doubt have listened to your fair share of Gong. If not, definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. If you are into jazz fusion, you no doubt know way more about it than I do. But I'd like to get some more Gong, actually. Side note, they released a new album a couple of years ago. I don't know what that lineup would be. If it's, I don't know if there's any original members still in the band or long-running members. I don't know, but that'd be cool to look into. Next, another great classic U.S. death metal band. One of the more, kind of obscure, and kind of known also for having a lot of gaps in their earlier career. They didn't get to recording a full-length album until, probably 20 years maybe after formation. They just had demos and EPs and stuff. I know this band had a lot of lineup trouble early on, but we're talking about Agoraphobia. This is a compilation, Vile Beast of Abomination. Excellent East Coast death metal out of the New Jersey, New York area. Necroharmonic put this out, and I'm so glad that he did, because I don't have any of that stuff. I don't have any of that early EP or demo stuff. This band actually would put out a couple full-length albums over the course of the last 10 years, and they're fantastic. To be honest, I think those albums are as good or better than their early stuff, which not a lot of bands can say that. But goddamn, dude, definitely look into this. Look into this band if you haven't ever heard them. And, you know, if you're into death metal, you know, the old school shit. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is mandatory stuff. You got Chris Gamble in this band from, you know, also known for being in Bloodstorm and played live in Apsu for a number of years. You got Alex Books, who was in he was in Incantation for a while. He's now in Immolation, death metal legend. You got Craig Smolowski on drums, who was I think he was the original Immolation drummer. He definitely plays on the debut album. I just can't remember if he's I don't know if he played on the demos, but anyways, yeah, absolutely love Agoraphobia. Really, really need more stuff. That compilation's just not enough. All right, now we have 4 albums from the same band, classic death metal band out of the Netherlands. One of the best known and most revered bands to come out of the Netherlands, death metal or otherwise. We're going to start with their debut album, and I'm really happy to say that I have this. So the band we're talking about is Gorfest, with their debut album, Mind Loss. This came out in '93. I have the 2000 repress on Pavement Music. Remember Pavement Music? Yeah, they put out all kinds of shit in the '90s and early 2000s, and yeah, this is just a great, heavy, kind of mid-paced to slowish death metal. Just thick, chunky death metal. Amazing. I've always loved this album. I might actually like the follow-up to that, which would be, or I would almost like this more, their second album, called False. At this point, they were signed to Nuclear Blast Records. This came out in '92, so we're just, oh shit, was I wrong? Did False come out first? No, that can't be right. Pretty fucking sure False, okay, it was recorded in '92. What year did it come out? Anyways, God, I want to say this probably came out in '93, but yeah, love this album. If you ask me, a lot of people do like that first album better. I've always kind of, and I love it, but I've always kind of preferred this one. I just feel like, you know, everything for me was just a step up, as a band should be able to pull off, you know, on their sophomore album. I feel like their songwriting's a little tighter, their musicianship is just a little better. You know, I would consider these two, you know, classic death metal albums. I wouldn't call them like top 5 or anything like that, but they're still classic in my humble opinion. Got a couple more from them. I have 2005. So there's a whole bunch of shit in between that I don't have. They kind of went through like I guess what you would call a death and roll phase. I haven't heard those albums. I can't say I don't. It's you know, it's not that I intentionally didn't get them because I heard they were bad or I've heard them. I just haven't heard them at all. I've heard. I'm not a big fan of that kind of death and roll type sound. That it just doesn't appeal to me at all. But that said, I haven't heard the albums. They might be really good, and I'm not opposed to picking them up. So someday, if I find them somewhere, I'll probably snag them. However, in 2005, this was kind of a return to form with La Muerte. Still signed to Nuclear Blast. Yeah, definitely a return to form. And I say that even without hearing, you know, those death and roll albums. I say that because this one really does remind me, for me, going from False to this, it's a smooth transition. I'm sure had I heard those death and roll albums, saying this is a return to form would even have that much more of an impact. But this is just, yeah, for me it's on par with those early two. Maybe a little bit more adventurous in the songwriting department. You know, maybe some more interesting tempos and stuff like that. Going a little bit outside the box a little bit. You know, experimenting just a tad. Still very much straightforward death metal. Last but not least, certainly, this is actually... I really like this album. I like it more than La Muerte. I like this just almost as much as those first two albums, in fact. 2007, Candlelight Records this time. We have Rise to Ruin. Terrible cover art, no doubt. That is fucking stupid, but don't let that trick you, man. This album is really, really good. It just starts off right out of the gate, super catchy, super heavy, mid-paced song. It's called Revolt. So catchy, you can almost sing along to this fucking thing. So I think there are some kind of death and rolly moments on this album, but it actually really works. So good, so heavy, and so catchy. I love this album. I have since it came out, and I just still love it to this day. Anyways, we are now going to move on to the horror movies. I mentioned these two in a previous video. I couldn't find them or something like that, but it doesn't matter. I mean, they're not great, but the first one is quite good, I think. But the sequel to Cube, with Cube 2 Hypercube, this movie sucks. Sure, it's got some moments, I guess, but it just takes away so much of the mystery from the fucking first one. Like, this movie either A, didn't need any sequels, or if it did, it didn't need sequels that kind of like peeled away the mystery of the first, of that first movie. It tries to add storyline and backstory and shit like that. And it's campy this time. I'm sure some of the kills are still pretty cool, but it's just a stupid fucking movie. And to rub even more salt in the wound, Cube Zero, a prequel, fucking terrible. They really tried to do a lot with CGI this time, which clearly they didn't have much of a budget. And in 2004, fucking movie CGI sucked anyways. Terrible movie. I don't recommend either of these two. I do recommend the first one though. So yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the Cube movies? Do you like the first one? Do you like either of these? I can't really get behind them. Next, I have the first two Darkman movies. There's a third one. I don't have it. It doesn't seem... I don't know. I've kind of looked at it a little bit. It doesn't look like it's going to be very good. But the first one is a very fun movie. I've enjoyed this since it came out when I was a little kid. I mean, how would you not like that? How would you not want to watch that? I thought, when this came out when I was a little kid, I thought Darkman was a comic book character. And I read comics a lot back then, and I was like, man, I've never seen any. He's not a comic character as far as I know. I shouldn't say that with certainty. He's not a comic character that I know of. Maybe there was a graphic novel or something in the 80s. I really should look into that, because that would be fucking badass. Anyways, this came out in 1990. I was 8 years old, so I don't think... maybe I saw it in 90. It might have been... It might have been a couple years after, but anyways, I love this movie. Got Liam Neeson, Larry Drake, directed by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi. I'm a massive Evil Dead fan. Yeah, this movie, so good. Second one, I would say this is probably not as good, but still pretty decent. This came out in 99, so there was a 9-year gap. I'm sure this was just a total cash-in. Sam Raimi wasn't on board this time. Different director. You don't even have Liam Neeson this time. It's an alright movie. It's an alright movie. It's not... It just doesn't compare to the first. Has anyone seen the third? Has anyone seen it? I don't know anyone that's seen it ever. Yeah, if you have, what do you think? I'd like to know. Next, we have this just kind of random movie that I bought probably 10 or 15 years ago. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it's an Italian movie. Yeah, it's an Italian movie. So it definitely has those vibes of like a Mario Bava or any of those heavy hitters. But it's not. This came out in '94. Definitely a homage, I would say, from this director to those great Italian directors that came before. Anyways, did I say what it was called? I'm sorry. It's called Dark Waters. Kind of obscure, I guess. I really like it. It's I'm not gonna go. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm not really gonna try to go into. I'm not gonna talk about it at length or anything, but has anyone seen this? I've never really heard anyone talk about it or anything like that, but I really need to rewatch it. It's very low budget. Keep that in mind. Super low budget, but they do a decent job with what they have. And the next 5 movies aren't necessarily alphabetized. I picked them all out because of Dawn of the Dead. I wanted to keep all my Dawn of the Dead movies, all my Romero Dead movies together on my shelf. So we'll just start with Night of the Living Dead. I have one of those fucking dumb, like public domain versions that you get at Walmart for like $1. I think that's exactly what I paid for this. Either way, I got the movie. It plays. I've watched it countless times. There's nothing I could possibly say about this movie that you haven't already heard, and I couldn't do it justice if I tried. It's a classic among classics. This movie just was a blueprint for future zombie movies. It laid the groundwork for hundreds of movies to come. And that's all I'm going to say. So I also have I also have Dawn of the Dead. A couple versions actually. Got the original version. Honestly, I probably like this more than Night of the Living Dead. I hate to say that, but this movie I definitely have a huge soft spot for. It's just one of my favorite movies of all time. I also have this kind of cool version where it's Dawn of the Dead and Zombie both on the same disc. If you're a horror fan, you probably know what Zombie is. It's basically it was done by Dario Argento. It was basically this. It was George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, but he kind of took it and kind of chopped it up a little bit. Did different things with the soundtrack, added stuff, removed stuff. Why? I'm not really sure, but it's cool because you feel like you're watching a different version of Dawn of the Dead, and it's really fucking cool actually. I wouldn't say necessarily I like it more, but I do like it a lot. It's very, very cool. And I also have this, and yes, I'm a fan of this. I've said it here many times, I'm not opposed to movie remakes. If it sucks, it sucks. You don't have to watch it. It does not tarnish the original, and I think it's stupid to even pretend that it does. But anyways, this came out, I saw this in the theater. This is kind of when I was kind of beginning to get into horror movies, back in 2004. The Dawn of the Dead remake with Ving Rhames. I love this movie. This was Zack Snyder's first movie. I really thought Zack Snyder would go on to become like this great director, and some people think that he has. I would disagree with that. I'd say he's done a couple cool things, but he's done more lame shit than good. But there's a lot. I just think this is a really, really good movie. Nice companion piece to the original, if you ask me. Last but not least, certainly not, this might be my favorite from the entire series, Day of the Dead. And I have this really cool version. You've probably seen it. I can't remember this guy's name. He's like the zombie from the movie, but yeah, got a little Velcro thing. You open it up like that. Whoops. 2 discs. It's gorgeous. It's got this cool like notepad. Very, very cool. So awesome. Anchor Bay, Divimax series. But when did this one come out? 85, I think. Yeah, 85. Fantastic. Like I said, possibly my favorite from the entire series, and that's really hard to say, but yeah, I love it so much. Love it. I was just gonna say, I wonder if this ever got a remake. Surely it did. I think I just probably not paid attention. But anyways, that's all we got. Comic book of the day, by the way, is haven't read it yet. I'm going to read it tonight, I think. I guess I probably should have read it before this video, but it doesn't matter. Issue 1 of just some random comic book I found at the store called Night Moves. Came out on IDW, which I really like IDW's shit that they put out. Clearly it's a horror comic. You know, the fact that it was on IDW and just that awesome cover, I was sold instantly. I think I flipped through a couple pages initially when I bought it, but I'm not necessarily familiar with any of the dudes that worked on it. People, I should say, not dudes necessarily, but yeah, I mean, it looks cool. Like I said, maybe I'll read it tonight. I don't think I have any of the others in the series, but if I like it enough, maybe I'll try to track some down. Anyways, that's all I got for now. I do have a new stuff video coming pretty soon. I think I'll probably do that this weekend, 3-4 days from now. Got some pretty cool stuff to show. I've had stuff I've been waiting on in the mail forever, and it just seems to never come. But I have a couple things at home that I've been saving. One thing that I bought from Record Store Day, the one thing in general that I bought that came out on Record Store Day. I'm realizing more and more that Record Store Day is completely over fucking rated, overpriced. It's kind of cool, but I mean, it's just not. It's not even special anymore. It's just they do 2 or 3 of them now. It used to just be 1. I don't know. It's just kind of lost its charm for me. Like I said, just the overpricing is annoying. But anyways, Louis says hello. He's down below right there. Thanks for stopping by. We'll talk soon. Cheers.